Storm Bert claims first victim as 82 miles per hour winds and atrocious travel chaos grip UK, with families trapped inside homes. Storm Bert has claimed its first victim as 82 miles per hour gales and severe travel chaos grip the UK. A man in his 60s sadly died in Hampshire just before 8:00 am this morning after a tree fell on his car. Sign up for the Sun newsletter. The man was driving a black Mercedes E350 on the A34 southbound carriageway, between Kingsworthy and Winall. He was tragically pronounced dead at the scene. His family have been informed. Cops said a second car, a silver Skoda Kodiaq, was also damaged but no other injuries were reported. It comes as Brits have been warned to stock up on food and water as multi-hazard event Storm Bert has seen trains axed, ferries cancelled, and roads closed. Families in Belfast have been trapped inside their homes as firefighters pump out flood water, as reported by the BBC. The mother of one man I spoke to this morning said her son had woken up and went down to see around 2 to 3 feet of water in his home this morning, a reporter at the scene said. The fridge was floating around the kitchen. The Met Office has issued 7 yellow and 2 amber weather warnings today as the UK braced for 70 miles per hour winds, heavy snow, rain, and flooding. British Gas also warned it is advisable to stock up on food and water as Storm Bert comes into full force. The company urged, it's a good habit to have at least 3 days' worth of food and essentials stored in an easy-to-reach part of your home. That's things like medicines, drinking water, non-perishable food, and snacks and extra blankets. You should also keep a torch, batteries, and a phone charger close by too, they added. Temperatures plummeted to a bone-chilling -4°C across parts of Scotland and -1°C in eastern England last night. Today blizzards have hit the UK, forcing train companies to scrap services, several major road closures, airport disruption, and ferry cancellations. Storm Bert sparked travel chaos at several major UK airports today including Newcastle, Leeds Bradford, and Heathrow. Passengers at Newcastle reported operations coming to a standstill as staff deal with snowfall. Other holidaymakers reported no flights are taking off, and there have been reports of 7-hour delays on Ryanair trips. Temporary halt to Newcastle Airport operations as well, whilst they try and deal with the falling snow. All flights currently holding, wrote one on social media. Another said, very clearly no flights leaving from at Enfield Airport anytime soon but they're still pretending that flight delays are isolated. Ryanair app says 7HR10M delay to my flight. #Newcastle #Storm Bert. And, the airport's online departure board confirmed many flights set to depart this morning have been delayed. And, the 9:30 am British Airways service to Heathrow was cancelled. The live arrival board shows flights diverted to Belfast and Edinburgh. Meanwhile flights from Amsterdam, Belfast, and London have either been diverted to other airports or cancelled completely. Many journeys are being delayed until at least 11 am. Newcastle Airport has been contacted for comment. There was also disruption at Leeds Bradford Airport after the runway was forced to close. A flight to Amsterdam at 10 am this morning was cancelled while 10 others from the airport have been delayed. Arriving flights have also been affected. The airport posted on social media, Snow Update 23/11/24, the runway is now fully open. The terminal is continuing to operate as normal. Thank you for your patience as we work to keep the airport safe for everyone, this is always our priority. British Airways has also been forced to ground 36 domestic and European flights to and from London Heathrow today. Meanwhile, in Scotland, train lines continue to be affected. There will be speed restrictions on the West Highland Line, Highland Main Line, Stranraer Line, Glasgow South Western Line, Far North Line, and West Coast Main Line between Carstairs and the border. ScotRail has also withdrawn services from Inverness to Elgin, Aberdeen to Inverary, and Glasgow Queen Street to open, while trains from Glasgow Central to Carlisle will terminate at Dumfries. Elsewhere, South Western Rail urged passengers to only travel west of Basingstoke if their journeys are essential, with longer journey times between Salisbury and Exeter, as well as routes from Bournemouth to Weymouth. And TransPennine Express strongly advised customers not to travel north of Carlisle today. Avanti West Coast also warned passengers not to travel north of Preston, including Lancaster, Oxenholme, Penrith, Carlisle, Glasgow, and Edinburgh. On the roads, National Highways issued a severe weather alert as nationwide travel chaos unfolds. A man tragically died at around 1 a.m. this morning after the blue Renault Captur he was driving crashed into a wall in Bradford. West Yorkshire Police said the driver, a 34-year-old man from Bradford, was given emergency treatment but was pronounced dead at the scene a short time later. No other vehicles are thought to have been involved, but the cause of the collision is unclear. In Yorkshire, the A628 remained closed overnight in both directions between the A616 Hollingworth and the A57 Flouch due to snow. The A66 TransPennine route was closed between the A6 and the M6. The M48 Severn Bridge has also closed in both directions due to current wind speeds, National Highways announced this morning. Drivers have been advised to seek alternative routes including the M60, M62, and M1. Further south, the A14 is closed in both directions from J36 to J37 as a result of a serious collision between three cars. One of the vehicles is reported to have rolled and there is no indication of how long the closure will remain in place. There is a further warning for the northeast in its entirety, with road bosses predicting 3 to 5 hours of heavy snow which will accumulate quickly at all levels. RAC Breakdown spokeswoman Alice Simpson warned drivers to be aware of rapidly changing conditions on the roads because of Storm Bert. Persistent downpours will lead to areas of standing water, so it's important to keep speeds down as the risk of losing control through aquaplaning on a thin layer of water is far greater, she said. Drivers should also be very wary of puddles as they can sometimes hide dangerous potholes beneath that can cause expensive damage to vehicles. Strong winds increase the risk of debris falling into the road, which makes journeys more challenging, particularly in exposed coastal areas where drivers might be at risk of being buffeted off course. Routes in Scotland, especially rural ones, look likely to face disruption from fresh snow that is forecast on Friday and Saturday. We encourage motorists to stick to major roads where possible and take extra care in the worst affected areas. Those who have to drive should stay tuned to weather forecasts and allow plenty of time to de-ice and demist your vehicle, as it's dangerous and illegal to drive looking out of a small gap in a frozen windscreen. Ferry operator Calmac, which serves the west coast of Scotland, axed several services today in anticipation of travel chaos. P&O Ferries confirmed the 4 a.m. sailing between Larne in Northern Ireland and Cairnryan in Scotland was also scrapped today. Meanwhile, people have also been urged to stay well clear of power lines. UK Power Networks said, "Our electricity network is built to be resilient, but extreme weather can affect overhead power lines. We urge the public to stay well clear from power lines, and anyone spotting a damaged power line should report it to us immediately by calling 105. And, at least 60,000 homes, farms, and businesses have been left without power due to Storm Bert, ESB Networks has said. Crews are mobilized in impacted areas and responding to faults where it is safe to do so, it said. ESB Networks teams are closely monitoring the storm impact on power supplies and all available resources remain on alert. Meanwhile, more than 4,000 properties have been left without power across the Midlands, South West England and Wales, according to the National Grid. Engineering teams continue to work hard in challenging weather conditions to restore power supplies and support customers, as heavy wind and rain affects parts of our electricity network. It said on its website. As of midday, 4,183 properties are without power, but we have already been able to successfully and safely restore many homes and businesses. It comes as the Met Office issued an amber alert for heavy snow and ice between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. today in parts of Scotland. Anywhere from 10 to 20 centimeters is likely on ground above 200 meters, and potentially as much as 40 centimeters on hills above 400 meters. The weather warning covers parts of Angus, Perth, and Kinross, Stirlingshire, Aberdeenshire and some of the Highlands, Argyll and Bute, the Borders, Dumfries and Galloway, East Ayrshire and South Lanarkshire. It has seen Perth and Kinross Council cancel their annual Perth Christmas Lights Switch-on event for safety reasons. More than 54 schools were also shut in the Highlands yesterday due to snow, with 27 closures in Aberdeenshire. South of the border, at least 37 schools were shut in Devon, and 3 in Dorset. A second amber warning will be in place between 7 a.m. and midday on Saturday covering parts of Yorkshire and the northeast of England. Christmas light switch-ons being held in the Midlands including the Iron Bridge light switch-on, have also been postponed. Met Office meteorologist Aidan McGivern said, "We'll see 2 to 4 hours of heavy snow across parts of northern England and Scotland during Saturday morning. This snow will accumulate thick and fast, with 5 to 10 centimeters at lower levels and as much as 20 to 40 centimeters over hills accompanied by strong winds. You can expect blizzards over hills across northern England and Scotland. Atrocious conditions for traveling and going over the hills and also the risk of power interruptions because of snow build-up on power lines. So all in all, a multiple hazard event as we go into Saturday morning. But, there will be a rapid thaw by the afternoon as warmer air arrives from the Atlantic. This could spark localised flooding, where the worst affected areas are predicted to be Wales, and the southwest. Over the weekend, these higher risk areas could see 75 millimeters of rain widely, and potentially more than 100 millimeters over the higher parts of South Wales and Dartmoor. Rain warnings cover much of Wales from 6 a.m. on Saturday until 6 a.m. on Sunday, and southwest England from 6 a.m. on Saturday until 11:45 p.m. Parts of Dartmoor and South Wales could even see up to 3 months' worth of rain over the weekend. The Environment Agency has also issued 70 flood alerts where flooding is possible and 13 warnings where it is expected. Meanwhile, the southern coast is expected to be battered by gusts of more than 70 miles per hour in places. A wind warning covers coastal areas of southern England from 3 p.m. until 9 p.m. on Saturday. And, the same alerts also covers Scotland from 5 a.m. until 7 p.m. today. Elsewhere, rain and snow warnings cover northern England from 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., and Northern Ireland from midnight on Friday until 11 a.m. today.